Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I am your host, Barry Kessler. I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours. That's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here in Puerto Vallarta. Those are the Lapa Lapa, the El Dorado Beach Club, and at night for dinner, that El Dorado Beach Club transforms into the ever-so-romantic Vista Grill with those dramatic views of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors. And of course, at Lapa Lapa, you can enjoy that same view of the Los Muertos Pier all day long. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand, right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week, I have a really great guest for you. His name is Danny Mininni. He is the owner of Act 2 Entertainment Stages in Puerto Vallarta. But first, let's find out what's happening this week, the 28th of March, 2018. Semana Santa is in full swing in Puerto Vallarta as we enter into the Easter Sunday time. It's coming right up. Then comes Pascua, and then another week of spring break for tourists and locals and all the Mexican nationals coming from the surrounding areas, the surrounding towns and cities in Nayarit and in Jalisco. And so just remember that the occupancy rates are just going to go through the roof, and the beaches are going to be crowded, and the restaurants are going to be busy too. And, just remember that this time of year, along with New Year's and Christmas, are the busiest times to be in Puerto Vallarta. All right, now with that being said, you guys, if you're going to be in town, just make sure that you stay safe. You make sure you follow the safety procedures that we've covered before. No fancy jewelry. Don't lay down your cell phone somewhere. Don't hang your purse over your chair. Just be aware of your surroundings. Don't get too drunk and get all stumbly and stuff and fall down or just make a nuisance of yourself. Make sure that you take cabs when you're going out late at night. And by the way, next week I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Uber situation. I took Uber last time and it worked great. I took taxis too, don't get me wrong now, but Uber works really well in Vallarta in certain ways. And speaking about taxis, this time of year they're going to be looking to gouge you, okay? So don't get mad. Do the math in your head and just decide if an extra buck is going to turn into, ruin your day, okay? Let's just think about it that way. And another thing, by the way, Uber works on a scale according to availability. So Uber's not always the cheapest way to go, if it's high volume time. But we're going to talk about that next week. So keep that in mind, you guys. And just remember, when you get out of your cab, look back in the cab, make sure you haven't left anything there. And then be careful when you step out of the cab. Try to step out of the cab onto the sidewalk side of the street, not out into the street. I've seen lots of people almost get hit by cars. It's really, really scary. So just be careful, you guys, all right, when you're getting out of a taxi. All right, now last week, in the episode that I was having with Mavi Graff, and if you didn't hear that, it was a great talk that we had. And she had some really great suggestions for restaurants, and some of them are real holes in the wall. I found them, and I put their locations in the show notes from last week's episode. So if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. And if you did hear it, check out the show notes. You'll be able to see these cool places that Mavi likes to go to. Really, really cool places. Thanks, Mavi, for that. And anyway, I was listening back to the conversation that I had with her, and I noticed that I made a mistake. I hate it when I do this, you guys. I passed up an opportunity to probe further into, something that she had talked about. She asked me if I knew what agua fresca was. And I said, yeah, sure. But really what I should have said was, yes, I love aguas frescas. Now, Mavi, how do you make those, right? That's what I should have said. But instead I said, oh, yeah, I know all about them. Stupid me. All right. So anyway, I went online because I love aguas frescas. And you guys, if you haven't tried them yet, you're going to love them too. I found out a bunch of stuff about them. Now, aguas frescas can be made with fruits and vegetables and even rice and other grains. Now, you've seen aguas frescas in Vallarta and in other parts of Mexico, I'm sure. It's this concoction. It's usually a colorful juice that's in these huge jars, these huge glass jars. They're very colorful. And then the vendors that are selling this stuff, they dip a ladle into the jar, actually kind of mix it up a little bit so you get some of the pulp that's on the bottom of whatever the fruit is or whatever the mixture is in there, whatever concoction they've made. And then they pour it into a cup. They ladle it into a cup. And so anyway, I figured I'd kind of tell you how this stuff is made. It's actually pretty easy. Let's just say you have some fruit that is getting ready to go, like watermelon. Let's just take watermelon for instance. You cut up 2 cups of watermelon, and you throw it into a blender, and then you cover it up with water, maybe another 2 cups of water on top of, 2 cups of water all together, and then you just blend it. And then you add some sugar to taste, and it just tastes really good. I mean, sometimes you don't need the sugar because the fruit is sweet enough, but in most cases, you're going to be adding some sugar. You can use strawberries, you can use cantaloupe, honeydew, cucumber, all kinds of stuff. And you can combine fruits with vegetables and mix in mint and all sorts of different ways that this aguas frescas are made. It's really easy to do at home, and it's, like I said, it's a great way to use fruit that's just on the edge. It's getting ready to go. And it's natural, and it's refreshing. And next time you're in Puerto Vallarta, if you haven't tried it, you got to try some of this stuff. So while I was researching aguas frescas, I happened to stumble upon a YouTube channel that I wanted to share with you guys called Abuela's Kitchen. It features Abuela, who is its grandmother in Spanish, and it's filmed and produced by the granddaughter who has her 84-year-old abuela teaches how to make Mexican food. The cool thing about the show is that the grandmother speaks Spanish only, and there's English subtitles though. And the granddaughter also explains things in English as well as in Spanish. And this little grandmother is so cute. Sometimes the granddaughter speaks to her in English and asks her a question, and the grandmother just rolls her eyes and says, Español, Español. It's so sweet. It's so funny. Anyway, another cool thing is that she tells these really fun stories in the middle of, her cooking. So it's really, I'm telling you, it's a great way to learn Spanish, and it's a wonderful way to learn how to cook at the same time. I don't want to take away from the local Vallarta cooking classes, you guys, but this is, I just had to share this with you. I got an email from listener Skip, and Skip, if you remember, was going to be spending a month in Puerto Vallarta, and he sent me a few emails, which I read on the air. He reached out to me for suggestions, and anyway, Skip just got back from his stay in Nueva Vallarta, and he wants to share some of his experiences with us. So here he goes. Barry, I have been back a couple of weeks now from our month-long Airbnb stay in PV, and I wanted to share some of my experiences with you, and a little bit at a time. A lot of what I wish to share relates to the help your podcasts provided me in my adventures. I wish to extend a personal thank you to Brett in Seattle, who told us listeners about the FMM online website. The forms do not look a lot like the official paper forms that the flight attendant hands out, and that worried me. Still, I filled them out online and printed them out for myself and my wife and every visitor that we had during that month. The website only allows forms to be submitted within 30 days of the arrival date in Mexico. The official paper forms are divided horizontally, and the online forms are divided vertically. So I was also concerned that the back of the online form needed to be inverted, so I printed them both ways. When I asked our flight attendant about these forms, she said that the airlines get fewer forms to hand out. Passengers, as time progresses, and the Mexican officials want travelers to use the online forms neatly filled out and generally error-free. She said that very few people use them. The forms work perfectly for me and all of our guests. The custom official looked at it twice, seemingly a bit surprised, and stamped both the left and right sides, entry and exit, and never even looked at the back of the form I had been concerned about. I had perforated a vertical line in the middle for easy separation, and he smiled and nodded when I said perforado. When we left the airport, agent again looked thrice at it before stapling it to our ticket. I had attempted to fill out a customs declaration online, but could not find a current one. I did bring a current blank one home with me, and will scan it for our next trip. You may wish to ask your listeners if anyone has done this. I will share more in the coming weeks. All right. Well, okay, Skip. Thank you very much for that report. I'm looking forward to more in the coming weeks. And I want to thank Brett in Seattle again. He's the one that tipped us off to the online form, which I have a link to in the show notes for this episode and for that one where we talk about what to expect when you land in the airport. I'll have links to all those things. So, all right, cool. Thank you so much, Skip. Once again, you know how to do it. You know how to reach out, send me an email. That's how this show works. So thanks again. All right, let's get on with the show, shall we? Gary Beck and I did an episode on entertainment in Puerto Vallarta, and if you haven't heard that one, you're going to want to listen to it. Gary is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to food and entertainment in Puerto Vallarta. So you can listen to his episode about restaurants as well, and I'll have a link to that too in the show notes. But back to entertainment. Gary talked about our next guest, Danny Mininni, with just a lot of excitement and joy. Danny is the guy who's in charge of and has a place called Act 2 Entertainment Stages on Basillio Badillo on the south side of Puerto Vallarta. Now, walking in from the street, it's a very large building, and there's lots of stuff happening inside. There's a beautiful bar and a lounge area, and then the stages, the theaters. But I'm going to let Danny describe the place to you, and I'm going to allow him to tell you his story about how his vision came to fruition and more. So let's go right now to 330 Basillio Badillo on the south side of Puerto Vallarta in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood, and let's meet Danny Mininni, owner of Act 2 Entertainment Stages. Danny, thanks for inviting me to Act 2.
Well, thanks for coming in to see us.
Tell my listeners a little bit about yourself. What was your path that led you to Puerto Vallarta?
I've always vacationed here. I did it about 4 or 5 times a year, and ultimately I bought a condominium here that was supposed to be for a rental, but before we closed escrow, I ended up moving here full time. And it was funny. It was a relationship I was in that I was in for 12 years that really pushed me to move here. And within 6 months, that relationship was over. And he kept telling me, I said, I'm going back to the United States. And he just insisted, Danny, no, your path to Vallarta this is what I was supposed to do for you. And he just kept every day, because we remained friends, telling me that there was something I was supposed to do here. And for some reason, I believed him. I had owned a real estate company at the time, but wasn't happy, didn't like doing that here. and knew that there was something else. And I got dragged into a theater company, the Boutique Theater, actually, which is now down the street, and started doing shows with them, and then started directing and producing shows with them, and realized this is what I wanted to do. And then I realized that I couldn't do real estate and theater at the same time. I had to choose which one. And I chose this. So I built Act Two.
Wow. You're from Southern California, aren't you?
I am from Southern California, Los Angeles.
Oh, cool. All right. Where'd you go to high school?
Well, I went to Los Feliz Elementary, and then in junior high we moved to the Valley. So I went to Madison Junior High and then Poly High School.
Oh, cool.
I was supposed to go to Marshall.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, my mom and my brothers and sisters went to Marshall. But the junior high in my neighborhood, my bigger, tougher brothers got beat up there, so my parents didn't think I would do very well.
Good for your parents. I'm glad that they're looking out for you. Tell us about Act Two and stages in the Red Room. Give us kind of a description.
Well, Act Two stages, Act Two Entertainment was the name of the production company that we formed before I knew I was going to build the place. It was just our production company, and we took our first season, and we were at the Palm Cabaret, and we did an entire season there with 4 different shows. It was after that and the success of that season that I'd realized that we really needed to do something bigger. And I knew that just doing a cabaret wasn't going to be enough to satisfy me. And obviously, just the theater wasn't going to allow me to leave real estate. So I put together the concept of, and seeing what was wrong in other places, that, okay, the bar needed to be bigger. We needed to do a cabaret. And then that way I could do the theater to satisfy my own creative desires. So what we did was we built the cabaret and the bar in order to allow me to do theater. And that's how it kind of came to be. It was more about realizing that I couldn't still do real estate and theater at the same time, so I had to build a business big enough to quench my theater thirst.
Good.
Oddly enough, since I've opened, I haven't really had a chance to act because I've been so busy running the place.
It's amazing. It's amazing what you do. Every time I look, it's another thing coming up. I mean, you got things coming on and on. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before you do that, let's talk about this place. Was it here? How did you find it? What did you do?
Well, we had been searching for a venue for a long time, and oddly enough, I've always hated this building. Back when I was with the Boutique Theater, Carrie had asked me to look at it because I was in real estate to see if it was an option, and I was like, ugh, no, I would never want to be in that building. It's horrible. My house is just on the next block, and I was on my patio, and I looked over. It was a Sunday afternoon. I went, I looked at every building in town, and that really didn't do well for me. So I just took a walk over here, and I came upstairs. It was 3 concrete walls. It was completely opened up, concrete floor with nothing that you see here today was here. And as I walked the building, it was though my eyes turned into like an architect's sketchbook or something. Yeah. I could actually see walls dropping into place. I could see basically everything that you see here right now is what I envisioned as I did that first walk through by myself. And that's what we ended up building, with a few exceptions, a few tweaks here and there. And I just knew that's what a wall came up, and all of a sudden the cabaret was created. The dressing rooms were created that day. The office was created that day. Everything that you see, and I knew it was the right space.
Neat. How long did it take you to put it together, and was it a difficult process?
It was a very difficult process. For those of you who would like to build a business in Mexico, I wouldn't recommend it if you don't want to age quickly.
Yeah.
However, it was. I had Elizabeth Wiggins is my partner who lives in the United States. And her and I put in a lot of money, but it obviously wasn't enough to build this place. So I put together an investor package, and I sought out some investors.
Wow.
And we got very lucky. We got one major investor who donated a huge chunk of it, and then a lot of local investors who live here in Puerto Vallarta that all put in smaller chunks of it. And somehow it was miracle after miracle. We didn't think that it was going to be built. We really didn't. The construction started in June, and no one said we would get opened, and we opened on November 14th, as I planned, on the day we started construction.
What year?
That was 2013.
Okay.
And as we had the big grand opening party downstairs in the courtyard, we were still hammering and painting. As a matter of fact, on our opening night in the main stage, a couple of the seats fell forward because we didn't check to see if they were fastened properly. We were rehearsing shows during construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you got it done, man. That's in most cases that's unheard of. Getting it done on time and all that stuff when you want it in Mexico, especially. So you must know some people.
No, I'm just really determined, and if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And there wasn't anything that was going to stop me from opening on November 14th.
Wow. Okay, I believe you. What kind of food and drink do you guys serve here?
We don't serve food.
Okay.
There is a wings downstairs that we let people order from, and we have it delivered. But we have a full, beautiful bar with all sorts of great drink specials, a great wine list that we put together with one of our investors, Tom Burns, who helped us select it, and great entertainment. That's our food. We serve it up on a stage.
So tell us about your lineup for this coming season. What's going on?
Well, Act 2 is created in two different ways. Like we were talking about earlier, there's the theater side, and then there's the cabaret side. The theater is a 170-seat theater with a traditional stage, and the cabaret is a traditional cabaret with about 110 seats. On the theater side, we pretty much produce everything in there ourselves. So that's local actors, produced by myself, and directed by some of our resident directors, Alfonso Lopez and Alan McMullen, Kemi DeSoleil. And so everything on that side of the theater is produced by us. And then everything in the Red Room is mostly 99% made up of entertainers that we bring in from the United States, Canada, Europe. And these are all professional performers who arrive with a show that is packaged and ready to go. They come in, they do one tech rehearsal. Our tech guys, who are the best in the world, they're able to put the show together in 2 hours, and then we open. So it's very different. On the other side, we spend 8 weeks putting together a show, trying to find local actors. By the way, if you're listening to this and you want to be involved with acting, don't be shy. We are always, if there's one thing that we are short of, is a lot of actors. We've been really blessed with the great group of players that we have now, but we have to choose our shows pretty much based on who we have in front of us.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so you've got a cast of characters that are local that you know you can depend on if you need them, and so that makes sense. You're gonna cast. You're gonna find some sort of entertainment that they can all fit.
Yeah. And I just realized I just answered a lot of questions you didn't even ask. I re-explained what we are. So you asked about our season.
Yeah, I did. But no, I mean, we go all over the place. That's okay. That's all good.
Yeah. Well, that's, what's inside this brain. If I think it would scare most people if they, but I think if it was a sane brain, Act 2 would have never been built.
That's right.
So what's going on in the season? Well, over on the main stage, now that you understand how we do things, on the main stage side of it, this year we have done what we never thought we could do. It's a really ambitious season. Normally, by the time the first week of January comes up, we have opened our second production of the season. So we'll normally open one the first week of November and then the first week of January. This week, we opened up Xanadu, which was our fourth produced production of the season in just 2 months. We opened with the Rocky Horror Show that has been selling out every night, and we've now extended it until the end of the year. And then we did It's a Wonderful Life, based on the movie, which was a wonderful Christmas show, and that did really super well. And it was done as a radio play. And just to create all the different sounds was a task. And then we opened up Some Enchanted Evening, which is, for me, one of the most beautiful things we've ever put on this stage. It's 4 of the best singers you can find in Puerto Vallarta, and they are singing all of the best, most loved Rodgers and Hammerstein songs from all of their best musicals. And it's directed by Alfonso Lopez, and he's also starring in it, along with Vanessa Amaro, Kemi DeSoleil, and Hal. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I have to say, if you see anything this year, I think everything we're doing is amazing. But, this is a beautiful show. And we just opened Xanadu, which officially makes us crazy. It officially makes us insane. We have people roller skating and singing at the same time. And the choreography is insane. And we have audience members on the stage. And it was the craziest thing we've ever tried to do.
Yeah, and?
Well, we just opened. We've only had one show. And I would have to say that the audience went crazy. I've never sat in an audience and heard people loving a show so much. But I also have to say that we've also never had people trying to sing and skate at the same time. Right, yeah. So there's a learning curve there.
I should say so. And also, how's your liability insurance handing up there? No, never mind. We won't go there.
We're in Mexico.
Yeah, say no more. What does it cost to come to see a show here?
Well, one of the things that I've always been insistent on at Act Two, and although I personally think that it is the nicest, most elegant venue I've ever been in, and it's definitely the largest in the Bay, I've always held to a rule that we're going to keep our ticket prices at a point where it's affordable for everyone to come. We don't want it to be a special night out. We want it to be hey, we can go and do that anytime. So we don't charge that much for tickets. People would be amazed. 350 pesos is our basic price for most of our shows, which is like $22. Mm-hmm. And these are for professional shows and fully produced shows. Other places you may pay 500 or 600 pesos, but I just hold firm to my belief that I want Act Two to be a place where you can come to at any time. I don't want it to feel like, oh, well, it's a special occasion, let's go to the theater.
Good point. Is it difficult to get vacationers to come see a play or come see a performance when they're in paradise drinking margaritas on the beach and stuff like that?
It used to be. Even back when I was at the boutique, I mean, we would produce a show, and it would run for maybe 2 weekends, 4 performances, and to get a half an audience and to seat 56 seats was impossible. The longer Act Two has been here, the more people have made the entertainment part of their vacation experience. As a matter of fact, Vallarta Lifestyles is coming out with an article, I think today, about how we're changing the landscape of Puerto Vallarta. And what we're experiencing is that I look at the reports on our online ticket sales, and it shows me that 99% of the tickets purchased for our shows are purchased from the United States, Canada, or Europe, which means people are choosing their entertainment choices before they even arrive here. 99% of our ticket sales are purchased in a place other than Mexico. Only 1% are purchased once they're here. So the mentality has changed. People are looking at entertainment as part of their total overall experience, and they're purchasing not one ticket. People will come for 10 days and they will purchase tickets for 5 different shows. It's 10 different shows. And I would say if there's nothing else that I feel most proud of is that people are choosing their entertainment before they ever land in Puerto Vallarta. And that's not only for Act Two. I think that's for all the venues. But I would like to think that we've led the way. But, of course I'm going to think that.
Of course you are. You've got a big place here, so you probably have a good-sized staff.
Huge.
Do you know how many off the top of your head?
Well, full-time wait staff and box office 26. But then also you add in all of the actors and our tech crews and our stage managers. It's probably about 50 that are on our payroll.
Oh, whoa. Do you get help with that? Who does that administrative stuff?
We have a full office. I have Oscar Cisneros, who is our operations manager, and he is also a business partner. And he runs the office along with another. We have the Oscars. There are 2 Oscars, Little Oscar and Big Oscar. Little Oscar's our administrator. And then we have Jesse Rose, who is our marketing director. We have Layla, who is our box office manager. And we have Alex, who is our bar manager. So we have, in the first 2 or 3 years, it was Oscar and myself. We did everything. We sold tickets. We ushered. We cleaned. The first 2 years was not easy.
I believe it.
So every year we're able to add more staff and recognize what we need to do in order to grow.
Excellent. And take some stuff off your shoulders, put it on somebody else's.
Yeah, but then I just put a lot more stuff on my shoulders. And then all of a sudden we go from 12 shows a season to 43 shows a season, which is what we have this year.
That's the whole reason that you did this, so that you can, do what you do best, and that's attract good quality entertainment to come here.
Yeah, so I pretty much dedicate my time to being an artistic director and marketing.
Cool. What would you say is the most difficult part of running a business in Paradise here?
We are in a vacation destination, which means pretty much, although it's changing, it used to be 6 months out of the year we were busy and 6 months out of the year it was dead. That's definitely changing because we now stay busy till the end of June. But there's still the mentality of it's a seasonal town. Mm-hmm. I would say the most difficult part is that getting employees. It is the most, that's the number one problem, and number two is so far down the list of our problems is finding really great employees, because the people who are here are already scooped up, and getting people to come to work here, and then they have 6 months of this now it's more like 4 months, but still 4 months of almost no wages,
right?
Where it's really slow, September and August. So that's our biggest problem.
I would say that it's probably a lot of people's biggest problem.
Oh yeah, you see for help wanted signs on almost every business.
Interesting. What gives you the most pleasure about running a business like yours?
When I get to sit down in our main stage theater and see a show operate, it is such a pleasure for me to be able to, for example, in the Rocky Horror Show, I designed the sets on that, and to just see the set changes happen, and to see all the lights, and to see all the microphones, and to see a full house. And I sit back and I go, my God, there was a lot of work involved with this, but oh my God, I feel so proud. And to see people walking out of the theater and they're so happy. And they're not like fake happy. They're like genuinely, oh my God, how did this happen in Puerto Vallarta? Happy. So that gives me the most satisfaction, seeing the machine work, seeing my creative team in place. I don't do this alone. I have a creative team that I've developed over the years. I have a co-producer for all my projects that I work on. My co-producer is Alfonso Lopez, and he's also my co-artistic director. And he and I produce all of our shows together. And then I have Alan McMullen and Nathan Fry, who are our other resident directors. And between the four of us, we really create everything that happens in the main stage. And then we have other people who are on our creative team, like Maria Rose and Cami, and Marsha. So it's really a team effort. We sit down often and we go over what is our season going to look like, and we plan it together. Mm-hmm. There isn't anything that I do here that I don't put out on the table, whatever department it is, whether it's my marketing department or my creative team. This is what I'm thinking, and we discuss it. And often they tell me I'm crazy, and sometimes I listen and sometimes I don't.
Who are your biggest stars? Who are the ones that attract the most people here?
All of our, it's always changing. I would have to say, that our biggest, I don't want to say money makers. That sounds so crude, but our biggest, Alfonso Lopez he has directed and starred in all of our biggest hits. He did Avenue Q, and he was also the star in it. And then he's only directing and music directing, the Rocky Horror Show. That's another one of our biggest hits. He was in Forever Plaid, and he directed it. And now in Some Enchanted Evening. Cami DeSoleil is also one of our huge, she's a choreographer here, a director, and one of our stars, and is so talented. Maria Rose, who is one of our actresses in almost every production we have, and she's our costume designer. So, we all multitask around here. Everybody's got a job and an acting job, and
right. And the more you know,
it's just amazing. I don't know how we've opened 4 shows with that basic. It's 4 huge productions, not small productions. Yeah. And it's basically been myself, Alfonso, Nathan, Alan, Cami, and Maria Rose that have put it all together in every show. So yeah, those are our stars.
Incredible. All right. Let's take a little break from Act 2 and let's go talk a little bit about food. I always have a little part here in the show where I ask my guests what their favorite places are to eat. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So what would you...
You're just asking me that because you saw my size, aren't you? No.
No.
Food is my favorite subject, by the way.
Well, it's everybody's favorite subject. That's why we talk about it.
Well, I can tell you that when I lived in Los Angeles, I actually, my business was the restaurant business.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what I did all of my life until I moved to Vallarta. 2 years before moving to Vallarta, I got involved with real estate. I was very successful at it, and I decided that was something that could bring me here.
Yeah.
But before that, I was always in the restaurant business. In fact, you from Hollywood?
Well, yeah, I know Hollywood pretty well.
Hollywood? Okay, well, Fred 62, I used to be a partner there. I ran it. I was the managing partner there. So if you know that restaurant, okay, well, I that used to be part of what I did.
Cool.
My favorite restaurants. Well, okay, it's really simple, and you got to trust me with this. For breakfast, there really is no other place than Mi Cafe. It's over, like, I think Jacarandas and Francisco Madeira.
Correct.
So I love their tortilla español is my favorite thing. My addiction. I can have it every day. So for breakfast, definitely Mi Cafe.
Okay.
Second would be Coco's for breakfast. But the place that I could eat at every single day is Bravo's.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can be there in shorts. You can be there in a tuxedo. It could be a special occasion. It could be a quick meal. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't feel like it's fancy, but it doesn't feel like it's not fancy.
Right.
And like every dish is so good. Like you can't have a bad dish there. I personally, if I could go there right now, I would get the Caesar salad. I would get the shrimp with risotto, and I would get the carrot cake.
Right on.
And whatever soup they were having.
That carrot cake is very famous. It's very famous there.
Have you had it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So recently I have been to Vino de Dante, and I loved it there. And I always, Joe Jack's Fish Shack is always a go-to favorite for me. And then Archie's Walk.
Excellent. Hey, those are all great choices.
Yeah.
What is your favorite hole in the wall? Like, you'd be walking past it, and it'd be a big surprise. You walk
that's
in,
so easy.
and then, tell me that.
Oh my God, eat at David's.
Cool.
Especially Tuesday night, fried chicken. Like if you're an expat that lives here full time, every once in a while, we just need some comfort food. And on Tuesday night, they have either the fried chicken or the meatloaf. So like usually when Oscar and I go, I make him get the meatloaf and I get the fried chicken just so I can have some of both.
That's over on Achilles Cerdan.
Yes.
And so I've never been in there. I was living up the street from there last time I was here, and I'd walk by, and it was all American comfort food.
Yeah.
Is that a Mexican family running that, or they?
Well, I used to be a guy that named David who owned it, and from what I understand, he got cancer and he passed away. Oh. And when he passed away, he left it to his staff, Rosie.
No.
And they have taken it on, and they have continued his tradition. So I love the story there. I love that these people were his employees. It's something that I imagine I would do someday. I would leave all of this to the people who've helped me. I've had people that have been with us since day one.
Yeah.
So I've always been a big believer in sharing it all with the people that you work with. But I love the story, and the food there is always awesome. And then my second comfort food would have to be, I think it's called the Thirsty Cougar. Mm-hmm. They have like a Salisbury steak with mushrooms and onions, and it's so good.
Really? They were really busy when I was in there the other day. So yeah, they are a good choice.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm calling your place a hole in the wall. I didn't mean that, by the way, but
hey, it's okay. You at least mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the important thing. And my listeners don't care. I send them to holes in the wall all day long. That's all right.
Holes in the wall are the best.
That's why they listen. Me? That's why they listen. What's your favorite day trip when you get out of town and you got to go out just for a day?
I would say that I love to go up to San Sebastian just because of that Italian restaurant that's up there. Have you been to that Italian restaurant?
I've heard about it. I have not been up there. It's called Montebello.
Yeah, so good. It's like what you mean. The best Italian restaurant in the entire state happens to be in a mountain town far away. And then I also, not a day trip, but Mazamitla is a great for a couple of days. They have little cabins and it's cold. It's like above Lake Chapala.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
it's the best. I've sent people there for little escapes, and they've always loved it.
Cool.
Yeah, so that I would say that.
Those are great tips. All right. Well, if you guys are driving around and you don't have time to write it down, you all know you just go over to my blog post for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, and you'll find it. I'll have links to everything that we talk about here. All right. We talked about, you talked about, I said something because I saw you. What's your favorite dessert place?
Favorite dessert place? Well, again,
It's that carrot
the
cake.
carrot
over
cake at
Bravo's.
Bravo's is an addiction. I'm always on a diet, so only when I eat dessert, it's normally when no one is looking because the calories don't count if people don't see you eat
Correct.
it.
Or if you're
There's this,
standing.
there's this place, and it's where I go whenever I need dessert. Basillio Badillo, right before, and I can never say the name of Olas Atlas properly.
Olas Altas.
Properly. So it's just like you turn from Olas Atlas. I can never say that.
Alta. Come on.
Ca-
Altas.
Altas.
Yeah, easy.
Altas. And you turn from there and onto Basillio Badillo. On the right-hand side, there's this little hole in the wall, but it's clean. It's very clean, but it's
Okay.
just like literally like a hole in the wall. And they have like a dessert case right in the front and like at the sidewalk. And they have these little trays of all these different little bite desserts. But really, I think out of all the places for dessert here, I don't think people use sugar normally here or something. I don't know what the
you're right,
deal
yeah.
is.
No, the pastries aren't like they are in the States where it's like covered in sugar and
Yeah.
really sugary. They're
When I first moved to Mexico, I lived in Baja, in Rosarito. And I'll never forget the Mega there. And we would go in and they had all the donuts and pastries and all that, the sweetbreads. And we would load up the small tin tray and just take it home. And it would be like a bite of each thing. Oh my God, no. Oh my God. But we kept doing it, even though we knew that like it wasn't what we're used to. And I gained like 30 pounds that year.
you wouldn't think so. With you think, hey, where's the sugar? Why am I
Yeah,
gaining
because
all
you
this
keep
weight?
trying.
Oh, that's okay. I get it.
If you don't get satisfied, like if you take that one bite, like at this place down the street on Basillio Badillo, you take one of the little mini eclairs and you went, oh, God, that's so perfect. I don't need anything else. But if it's not a great dessert, you keep eating until you get some sort of satisfaction that you need from
Yeah,
it.
you're waiting for it.
Yeah.
Your body's
Yeah, it
craving
never
it. It's
comes.
like, come on,
Yeah.
and it never comes. So
No.
you just eat and eat and eat.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing. What's the nicest property? You used to be in the real estate business. What's the nicest property that you've seen in Puerto Vallarta where you could actually stay the night? You could even mention a couple of them. What do you think?
I have friends that come here and they're so nice. They never ask to stay with me. Thank you, Angela. Like anybody who lives here, the first year or two, you'll find out that everybody is like, oh, it's people you haven't talked to in years. Oh, I'm going to come to Puerto Vallarta. And then they cancel that trip once you give them a list of hotels.
Right.
But Angela loves to stay. There's a La Cima 1. And it's the ground floor unit that she always ordered. And it's the ground floor unit. It's such a beautiful unit. It's just a condo, and it's La Cima. So that is my favorite, like, condo to rent.
Okay.
And then my favorite hotel, which is actually where we put all of our celebrities. Donnie Most from Happy Days is coming. He's going to be there.
I know his mom, Mrs. Cunningham.
Oh, really?
No. His mom wasn't Mrs. Cunningham.
No,
right?
but-
No.
Oh, that's right. You know
I know
his
Marion
adopted
Ross.
mom.
Yeah.
Casa Karma Boutique Hotel is the finest, nicest hotel in the Bay. It's an oceanfront property, only 8 rooms or 9 rooms, and they have a kitchen and they have pool, and it's just such a beautiful property. Steve Grand was just staying there. Lorena is going to be staying there when she comes in February. Donnie Most is going to be staying there. So that is the nicest hotel property for me.
Cool.
There. And then
And they have
Cyan.
food there too. They do
They do have a
bed and
kitchen,
breakfast in the
yes.
kitchen,
Yeah.
and they got a nice bar.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
have
yeah. It's a
happy
beautiful
hours
place.
and stuff up there too.
Yeah, it's great even just to go there, just like for the day.
Yeah.
They have day passes. They have a beautiful pool, and drink and eat.
Right.
Yeah, I love that
and a
property.
great view of the bay.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that property.
Wow. Where do you like to go after you leave the theater and chill out?
Home.
Which is right around the corner. Or
I'm
something.
very lucky. In the old days, I used to have to stay and close every night, so we would be getting out at 1, and I really just wanted to go home. These days, with Alex, is an amazing manager. He's been with us since before we opened. I can leave pretty much after the intermission on the last show. So I can get out of here by 10 or 11. And when I get out of here early enough, I have a few friends that I love to dine with. Marcia Howard and Alfonso will go out and have dinner.
At Bravo's.
At Bravo's, whenever possible. The problem is that we never know when we're going to do it. And I think these days you need a reservation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Every once in a while I can slip in, but that's just if I'm lucky. And Michael's sees me.
Michael's amazing.
Yeah, he is amazing. What kind of advice would you give to a first-time visitor who comes to Puerto Vallarta?
Don't rent a car.
Okay.
Relax. And personally, I would say don't follow the tourist. There's so much to see. It's so safe. I mean, it's explore out. Like, go to the Comida Corrillas. I mean, I love over the Emiliano Zapata market, the La Fonda, the third one down. 35 pesos, you get a wonderful meal. 50 pesos, a wonderful meal. Like explore out to the smaller venues. And obviously, make entertainment a part of your.
I was going to say, besides, buying your ticket before you come on down.
I mean, for me, I've never been a beach person, so I didn't move to Vallarta for that.
Yeah.
But I think people want to spend the day at the beach, but also get out to other beaches. Like go for a day trip down to Mismaloya. Obviously, the Botanical Gardens is an amazing. And whenever friends come here, on their last full day, I bring them to the Botanical Gardens. That's their decompression day. You go up there; they have a wonderful kitchen. The food is wonderful. I'd walk down to the river, so that's a really great day out. Back before I was so busy, zip lining was a must. I love to go zip lining. And even, what are those called? ATVs?
Yeah.
ATVs?
Uh-huh.
And I love an ATV day. So like if I was here on a vacation, at Botanical Gardens, Bravos, zip lining day, ATV day, and then do a day out on the bay for sure. Like get one of those
Punga guys.
Yeah. I mean, I personally like to just go up to Mismaloya and take a water taxi to Las Animas. That's a full day for me too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, make entertainment and out of your nightly choice.
When you're all done.
Well, we do have
Clean up
27
and slip
different,
on
29 shows a week with 14 to 16 different shows. So there's always something to see.
Always.
Yeah.
And you're crazy, man.
I am crazy. I don't know if there's any venue in the world that does 27 shows a week.
It's
29
incredible.
shows a week.
It's incredible. Have I missed anything?
I don't know. Get your tickets at www.act2pv.com.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Do you have any other plans for this place?
I always have plans. God, I wake up every morning and my mantra is, because I get so filled with anxiety, there's so much I want to do. And my mantra is, what we are today is not what we will be in the future. And I have to remind myself of that. I mean, just this past summer, we did a whole remodel of things that I wanted to do the year we opened and I couldn't do because we ran out of money. So, I'm always looking at ways. I want to change all the furniture, and I want to blow out the ceiling, and so we can have a fly-in space. I mean, I wish I had the entire building so I can make more entertainment. So there's always crazy stuff in my head that I want to do, and right now it's more about just finishing the space the way I wanted it to be when I first opened it.
Excellent. Okay, well, where can we find you guys? So you got Facebook, you got the Twitters.
Yeah,
you got,
Act 2 Entertainment Stages. Which, by the way, can I say something else?
Yeah, of course.
Something.
You can say anything you want.
You can just edit me out.
Yeah, it's your show.
One of the things that we're really, really proud of is TripAdvisor is pretty huge. And we were so proud when not too long ago we realized that there is on TripAdvisor, it's 167 of the best things to do in Puerto Vallarta. And we were so happy to find out we were on that list. And not only on that list, we were the only theater venue on that list, the only 5-star in the top 10. And okay, I just gave it away. And we're number 6 on that list. So based on all of the reviews that we get, out of all the things to do in Puerto Vallarta, we are number 6. But really, we're number 4 because the first one is like 54 businesses clumped into one category of ATVs or boating. And then the number 3 is ziplining, 19 businesses clumped into one. But so really, it's the Romantic Zone, the Malecon, the church, and Act 2 Entertainment.
Wow.
And we only want to get up to number 2 because I don't want to step on the church's toes.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, so the church can stay. I'll let them stay at number 1, but we don't mind if we're number 2. So keep reviewing us on TripAdvisor.
All right, that's a good idea. That's a great plan. All right, let's go back again. You're on Facebook. You got the Twitter.
You got
a website.
Yes. On TripAdvisor, it's Act 2 Entertainment Stages.
Okay.
On our Facebook page, it's Act 2 Entertainment Stages. If you want to be involved with our VIP group and know about season tickets, just Facebook friend me at Danny Mininni, and then I'll put you into the group. Request to be put into our group. We have a lot of Facebook pages, but my marketing director is telling me that I have too many and to keep it down to just Act 2 Entertainment Stages. So that's what we're trying to do. And then our website is ACT, the number 2, pv.com, act2pv.com. We also have act2entertainment.com, but it's easier to remember the other one.
Yeah, sure. You probably put Act 2 and then Puerto Vallarta afterwards, and all of them will pop up right in front of you.
Yeah. We are on the top of. You just put Act 2. You just put Puerto Vallarta Entertainment, and we're right on the top.
You're on the top.
Yeah.
As well, you should be. You're right on the top as far as I'm concerned, Dan.
Well, thank you.
I want to thank you very much for coming on the show and allowing me to introduce you to my listeners.
Well, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much for having us. Me, Act 2.
All right. Thank you, Danny. Man, that guy is busy. I have all his information in the show notes, including contact information and links to their website and great photos of Act 2's entertainment stages. So go ahead and check them out at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And then I also have links to the restaurants that Danny loves and that breakfast place, Mi Cafe, that he talked about. I love Mi Cafe, one of my very favorite places as well. And I have an interview with the owner of Mi Cafe, Alberto Perez Garcia. And I have a link to that episode in the show notes as well. So if you haven't heard that already, you should. All right? Okay. All right. Well, that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. Next week, please stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. And until then, remember, this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, it's a value-for-value proposition, my friends. JR's experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to be using someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR has his maps and his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of that in the show notes for this episode. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And I made it easy for you to do that with each episode I create. Go to my website. You really need to have a look there. I have links to the places we talk about. I have pictures and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode that I create. So go check it out if you haven't already, all right? Okay. And so, thank you to Danny Mininni from Act 2 Entertainment Stages. Make sure that next time you're in Puerto Vallarta, take a little time, see a show. It's a really nice place for sure. And hey, go Come on, get some culture while you're in Mexico next time, all right? Okay. All right, well, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta.